In the biting cold of January, the wind whipped through the tattered coat of Alex Monroe as he huddled in the doorway of an abandoned storefront. 3 months into his undercover assignment, he still struggled to adjust to the bone-deep chill of living as a homeless man. His once clean-shaven face was now hidden behind a scruffy beard, and the tailored suits of his FBI days had been replaced by layers of discarded clothing. Discomfort was a small price to pay. The Bureau had spent months building a case against Charles Grayson, one of the city's most influential defense attorneys. Grayson was a legal superstar, charismatic and often quoted in the press. But beneath that polished surface lay a man who had corrupted the justice system for personal gain. "Hey, Alex," called out Jason, another homeless man who frequented the block. Unlike Alex, Jason's situation was all too real. "Grab some coffee. It's not much, but it's warm." "Thanks, man. You're a lifesaver," Alex replied, accepting the paper cup gratefully. "Just looking out for each other. That's what we do out here," Jason said before wandering off. As Alex sipped his coffee, he kept an eye on the entrance of the Lincoln Building across the street. At precisely 8:30 a.m., a sleek black Tesla pulled up. Out stepped Charles Grayson, immaculate in a tailored suit that likely cost more than most people's monthly rent. Alex had been studying Grayson's routine for weeks, documenting his patterns. The attorney never spared a glance for the homeless people he passed. To men like Grayson, people like Alex were invisible, making him the perfect spy. Through informants and surveillance, Alex had uncovered disturbing patterns: innocent people imprisoned after crossing paths with Grayson's wealthy clients, crucial evidence that mysteriously disappeared or appeared at convenient moments, and an alarming number of Grayson's cases landing in front of one particular judge, Helen Brooks. According to his sources, Grayson was scheduled to meet Judge Brooks for lunch today at the exclusive Silver Oak Club. While Alex couldn't get inside, he had a plan. That afternoon, Alex met with Miguel, a young dishwasher at the club, in the back alley. "Did you bring it?" Alex asked quietly. Miguel nodded, handing over a tiny listening device. "I placed it under their table, just like you asked. Table 12 in the private dining room." "Good job," Alex said, pressing a couple of bills into Miguel's hand. "Remember, if anyone asks, you've never seen me." Back in his temporary shelter, Alex set up his equipment. The listening device transmitted clearly, and his heart raced as he heard Grayson's voice through his headphones. "Judge Brooks, I have a rather unique situation," Grayson said casually. "What is it this time?" Judge Brooks replied. "Victor Langley has a problem that needs to disappear. The SEC is investigating one of his companies for financial discrepancies." "That sounds like a regulatory issue, not a criminal case," the judge said. "It would be, except there's a whistleblower. An accountant noticed the discrepancies and went to the authorities. If this gets out, Victor loses millions." "And what does he expect me to do about it?" Judge Brooks asked. "If the whistleblower were implicated in a serious crime, like robbery, their credibility would be shot. The SEC would have to restart their investigation, giving Victor enough time to clean everything up." After a pause, Judge Brooks asked, "That's quite the plan. But where do you find someone to take the fall?" Grayson's laugh was cold. "We don't need someone willing, just a convenient scapegoat. There's a homeless man who sleeps near Victor's building, perfect target. No alibi, no resources for a proper defense. The jury will see exactly what we want them to see." Alex froze. They were talking about him. The irony was perfect: they had unknowingly selected an FBI agent as their fall guy. The next morning, Alex contacted his FBI handler through a prearranged signal. Within hours, he was briefing a team of agents in an unmarked van. "They're planning to frame me for a robbery at Langley's company," he explained. "It's the perfect opportunity to catch them all red-handed." "Too risky," Special Agent Thompson said skeptically. "You could end up serving time if something goes wrong." "It's our best chance," Alex insisted. We can bring down the whole operation. After some debate, the plan was approved. Alex would allow himself to be arrested and charged with the robbery they planned to pin on him, while the FBI monitored everything to gather evidence. 3 days later, Alex watched as Grayson entered Victor Langley's building, carrying a briefcase. Inside was a stolen watch, wiped clean of fingerprints and ready to be planted near Alex's sleeping spot. That night, Alex saw Grayson approach stealthily, drop something in the nearby alley, and walk away. The next morning, Alex was awakened by police officers pointing guns at him. Don't move. Hands where we can see them. What's going on? I didn't do anything. Alex protested, playing his part. Sure you didn't, an officer sneered. We just found a watch worth 20 grand in your stuff. The same watch reported stolen from Langley Investments last night. As they handcuffed him, Alex spotted Grayson watching from across the street, a satisfied smile on his face. Despite his facade of confusion, Alex felt grim satisfaction. The pieces were falling into place. The corrupt lawyer and judge had no idea they had just invited a fox into their henhouse. 2 weeks passed in the county jail, where Alex maintained his cover. His FBI handlers managed to send him messages, assuring him that everything was proceeding according to plan. The courtroom assigned to his case was Judge Brooks's domain. On the day of his trial, Alex shuffled into the courtroom in an orange jumpsuit, playing the part of a defeated homeless man. He glanced up once to catch a glimpse of Grayson's smug expression at the prosecution table. Case number 2023 County Route 4872, State vs. John Doe, Judge Brooks announced. I'd like to identify my client as Alex Monroe, the public defender said. Very well, Mr. Monroe, Judge Brooks replied, looking at Alex with an expression revealing nothing. As the trial progressed, the prosecution brought forth a parade of witnesses, each more damaging than the last. Alex remained calm, biding his time. During a recess, he asked his public defender about challenging the witnesses. The public defender sighed. It's your word against theirs, and frankly, the jury is more likely to believe them. Alex felt a surge of determination. I want to represent myself, he declared. That's a terrible idea, the public defender protested. I know what I'm doing, Alex insisted. When court resumed, Judge Brooks looked irritated. Are you certain you wish to represent yourself? I'm certain, Your Honor, Alex replied, standing straighter, his voice clear and confident. Very well. The court will recognize Alex Monroe as representing himself. Before I begin my defense, I'd like to recall Officer Rodriguez to the stand, Alex said. Mr. Monroe, the prosecution has rested its case, Judge Brooks replied. Unless the court is denying me the right to call witnesses, Alex countered. After some hesitation, Judge Brooks allowed it. Alex approached Officer Rodriguez. You testified that you received an anonymous tip about stolen property hidden near where I was sleeping, correct? Right, the officer replied. Have you ever received such a conveniently specific tip before? Not usually, the officer admitted. Alex continued his questioning, exposing inconsistencies in the officer's testimony. The jury began to pay closer attention as the prosecution's narrative showed cracks. Next, Alex recalled Lenny Peters, the supposed fellow homeless man who had testified against him. Mr. Peters, how much were you paid to testify against me? I wasn't paid anything. Peters stammered. Really? Because I have evidence of a deposit into your account from a shell company connected to Mr. Grayson. The courtroom erupted in murmurs. Grayson's confident expression faltered. Judge Brooks demanded to know where Alex got this evidence, but Alex was ready. He pulled out a small recorder and pressed play, revealing conversations about the conspiracy to frame him. The courtroom fell silent. I am Special Agent Alex Monroe of the FBI, he announced, revealing his badge. I've been conducting an undercover investigation into judicial corruption. The doors swung open as FBI agents stormed in, led by Special Agent Thompson. "This isn't just about one case," Alex continued. "It's about exposing a pattern of corruption that has sent innocent people to prison." As chaos erupted, Judge Brooks pounded her gavel in vain. Grayson and Langley attempted to distance themselves from the plot, but their lies crumbled under the weight of evidence. In the end, Grayson, Brooks, and Langley were all arrested and charged with conspiracy, obstruction of justice, and bribery. The courtroom buzzed with excitement, the balance of justice finally tipping back in favor of the innocent. 1 month later, Alex stood in a federal courtroom, now wearing a tailored suit. He delivered an impact statement on behalf of those wrongfully convicted, emphasizing the importance of justice. The sentences were handed down: 25 years for Judge Brooks, 18 years for Grayson, and 15 years for Langley. As they were led away, Alex felt a sense of closure. Outside the courthouse, reporters clamored for his attention. Alex spoke about restoring justice for those affected by corruption, his heart full of hope. As he walked away, he spotted Jason, the man who had shared coffee with him during his undercover days. "You did good, man. They told me you were an agent all along," Jason said, smiling. Alex returned the smile, knowing that while the journey had been difficult, justice had prevailed. He had witnessed the fragility of the system, but also its power when it worked as intended. And with that, he stepped into the future, ready for whatever came next.